Good morning, everybody. Today in your Daily Huddle Money Matters, I have a question for you. Actually, I have more of a statement to share with you. Andrea.
What's up, Gio?
Last night, I discovered why I have problems with women.
Well, first of all, I didn't know you had, but tell me why.
Yes, so I told Siri, why do I have problems with women? And Siri said, Giovanni, I am Lexa, stupid.
I don't know what to tell you, but yep.
You better roll those drums,
makes
brother.
sense.
That'll do it.
Sense.
That'll do it.
It was awesome.
Well, good morning and welcome to Money Monday. If you have Alexa, make sure you don't call her Siri and vice versa, because if you do, you'll end up in the doghouse. Well, good morning, huddlers, wherever you are. I'm grateful for your life. I'm grateful that you woke up. I'm grateful that you're listening. Every word uttered on the Daily Huddle is meant to transform your life and transform the world. And, you know, you'll do that, but we're here to serve that. So thank you for giving us the opportunity for serving that. Today, we're tackling with Dr. Monikah Ogando a series of 5 questions that we began last week. If you recall, we began by saying, how do you recession-proof your money and create your own bank? And Dr. Monikah created with us, using her favorite letters in the alphabet, the letter M, 5 approaches to recession-proof your money and create your own economy. The first one is make money. The second is manage your money. The third is multiply your money. The fourth is minister with your money. And you probably would guess that she'd add a 5th M just because she loves the letter M. So masterminding is the 5th M. So starting today, we're going to take together a deeper dive in each of the M's, starting today with making money. Now, you already have an idea on how to make money, but wait till you hear this. Dr. Monikah Ogando, welcome to the Daily Huddle.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Mondays.
Monday, Money Mondays. We like starting the week with money, don't we? We like ending it with money too, but starting it is actually quite hopeful, don't you think?
Are you there, Dr. Monikah?
Can you hear me?
She's asked a question. Yes.
Go ahead.
I said starting the week with money, because we have Money Mondays. We like to begin the week with money. We like to end it with money, but we particularly like to begin it with money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Begin the week with money. Now, it's also an M word.
Yes. So one of the things that I love about this particular framework is that it allows us to cover multiple pillars of wealth building and legacy building in an organized way, because sometimes when we approach the conversation of money, most people get overwhelmed. Most people get almost like, oh, where do I begin? And there's so much that I have not thought of or not tackled, etc. And so they get a little overwhelmed and don't know where to begin. So I like to begin with the make money because it's the most obvious one. And it's the one where we can make the most direct difference right away. So I want to first start with whoever is here that is an entrepreneur has a direct path to making money to the degree that they want to. Because we have, as entrepreneurs, we can decide how to price our services, what services or products to offer, and what profit margin to apply to them. Now, one of the books that I always like to recommend to people is the book Profit First by MicroMentor USA. And he begins that conversation. You like it too?
Andrea loves that book.
Hey.
I'm going to become a Profit First certified person. I love it.
Oh, lovely. Okay, good. Okay. So one of the reasons why I like that book is because a lot of times people handle their money by just, I'm going to pay everything, and then whatever's left over, maybe they'll pay themselves, right? But we've all heard the phrase, pay yourself first. Well, in the business world, when you're running your own business, the way that you pay yourself first is by planning for profits first. And how do you do that? So I'm going to give you an acronym. You know, I love acronyms. And the acronym is POTO, P-O-T-O, P-O-T-O. Now, it starts with the P because we're planning for profits first. So you already know what the P in POTO stands for. It stands for profit. Then the second letter O is for owner's draw, or your salary, because again, we're paying ourselves first, right? The T stands for taxes and liabilities. So you have to put some money aside for Uncle Sam. And then the last O stands for operational expenses. It's flipping the way that we handle money in our businesses on its head, because typically we start with the operational expenses first, and then pay Uncle Sam, and then maybe we'll pay ourselves first, and if we're lucky, we'll have profit. We're turning it on its head. And the reason why we want to do that is because it allows you to be strategic with your money and planning your profits, your pricing, your launches, your menu of services and products that you're offering in a strategic way instead of out of survival. Okay. So let's say, for example,
Dr. Monikah.
Yeah.
Pause for a moment, because I think, on Money Mondays, we tackle at once the practical ways of making money. And we also want to touch on perhaps an aspect of my mindset, our mindset, that would keep us from making money. So when you say POTO turns the way we approach money on its head, could you say just a little something about the mindset shift that POTO actually also demands, if not forces, if you go profits, my payment first, and then taxes and operations?
Yeah, well, like I said, it demands that you approach it from a strategic way instead of a survival way. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always a fan of speaking about the conversation underneath the conversation, right? So when we're talking about strategy instead of survival, the conversation underneath that is a conversation of abundance instead of lack, right? Because if I'm coming from let's make profits first, it assumes that there's an abundance of money to be had, right? Those of you that are in the Thursday Daily Huddle with me, you know that one of my favorite things to say is check yourself before you wreck yourself. You check your assumptions. So the assumption from let's move from strategy instead of from survival is that there's an abundance. Now, I may have access to that abundance or I may not, depending on my strategy, but that it is there then creates this conversation of strategy versus survival. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
That perfectly makes sense, right? Yeah. So you're beginning with that strategy that's anchored in abundance. And sometimes I'm wondering, you may actually have to do it regardless of your current belief. Maybe the act of paying yourself first begins to train you to be in the strategy versus survival mode.
That's exactly right. Everything, and here's something that maybe we haven't considered. Absolutely everything that you're doing now, short of breathing, you've had to learn. Everything. You've had to learn to walk, to talk, to make requests, to write, to read, to move, to drive a car, to make requests, to negotiate pricing, to marry, to not marry, to have children. You had to learn how to do all of that. So to learn how to make profits is not a stretch for anybody, any human being, right? And so I say that because sometimes when people say, wait, what? I've been operating on survival for years. And this is a common occurrence. Sometimes people say that they've been in business for 10 years, but really all they've been doing is recycling the first year 10 times. So we want to create a growth pattern. And one of the ways to start that is by planning for profit first, right? And so how do you do that? The first thing that I want you to think about is, what are the things that you want your business to be able to do? And what do you want your business to pay you for, so that you can have the lifestyle or, meet your financial commitments, et cetera? I'm going to give you like mathematical examples. Okay. Let's say that you have, I'm just going to say like a coaching business. It's a service and it depends on your expertise. It depends on your labor. Particularly if you like speak or if you deliver coaching like one-on-one or a group, but it requires your presence, right? So let's start there. And let's say that you want your business to bring you, let's say $1 million. Let's be lofty, right? And out of that $1 million, you want your business to pay you, because you like the whole six-figure thing. You want your business to pay you $100,000 as a personal salary to you. Okay, so if you decide that the first O in POTO, P-O-T-O, the first O is owner's draw. That's your salary and payroll and so forth. That one's going to be $100,000. And then you run the numbers in your business and you realize that it takes about, let's say $10,000 a month. So that's $120,000 to run your business. That's the operational expenses, right? And if you assign arbitrarily, let's just say 15%, it could be more, it could be less, check with your accountant. I'm not privy to your P&L statements. But if you assign, let's say 15% to the T in taxes and liabilities, 15% of $1 million is what? 150,000.
$50,000.
So you have 100, 150, and what did I say on the other one? 10,000 a month, so 120, right? So now you have 370. That is for the O, the T, and the O. The rest is profit. $1 million minus 370.
That's a ton of money.
That's a ton of money. 630. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? First of all, don't go to Tahiti and blow it all. Okay, even though that would be my temptation. But what I always recommend to my clients to do is that when you take that part of the P, part of the profit in your company, you redistribute that to grow your business, whether it's advertising, whether it's hiring team members, whether it's your own professional development, so that you can serve more people, so that you can automate and systemize some of the ways that you operationalize your business, et cetera. And then the rest of it, you invest it. Put it inside of an investment account, whether it's crypto or stocks or bonds or EFTs, whatever the case may be. The reason for that is because that money that you put in an investment account is also making money for you the way that your labor makes money for you. And at the time when you don't want to do labor, when you've changed your mind, when you want to take a sabbatical, when you're, maybe you don't have any clients at the time because the market has shifted or because you're pivoting your brand or whatever the case may be, now you're still meeting your financial commitments because you plan for profits and let the profits work for you. Make sense what I'm saying?
Makes complete sense. And it also presupposes that you've done the work so that you have services and products that you're marketing and selling effectively to actually have that. So in the context of making money, once you start with the abundance mindset and you say profits, owner's draw, talk to us a little bit about the mechanics of creating your product, your services, pricing them right, and all that good stuff.
So that was going to be my next thing, that it's like, okay, now that you know, this is great on paper. It's great on paper to say, I'm just going to declare that I'm going to have $1 million business. It's going to pay me, I distribute it all. Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to offer? And at what price? And to how many people, so that $1 million can come into the business? And this is where the pricing strategy comes in. Because if you say to me, if you're like a coaching client of mine, and you say to me, I want to create $1 million business, but you're selling 1 hour sessions, one-on-one hour sessions at $200, there aren't enough hours in the day for you to create $1 million business. We need another business model. Okay, so the shift, for some people, it may be a shift from one-on-one to one-on-one hour sessions to one-on-one retainer packages. That may be one way. Another way may be, instead of charging one-on-one 1 hour sessions and moving to a retainer package where somebody hires you for 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever, change it to or add a group program component to that. So now the same hour, you're now serving 10, 20, 30 people instead of just that one person. That's another way to leverage your business model, right? Another way to do that is to add on ancillary products. For example, you may have recorded your webinars or have a webinar series. Like one of the programs that we talk about, Women, Wealth, and Worthiness, Men, Money, and Mastery. Those are recorded modules that have already been pre-recorded. And then I jump in there every single week. I'm there live to answer questions, to coach, to have hot seat coaching, to make sure that people are on track with their financial goals, et cetera, et cetera. But it only requires 1 hour a week of live coaching from me, instead of, if there's 300 people in the course, 300 hours. There aren't 300 hours in the week, right? And so this way you're leveraging your time and you're leveraging your labor. That's one way to do it. Make sense?
Makes complete sense. And so now you've laid the foundation for making money. And that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what you'll be covering in money and mastery. And
Men, Money, and Mastery, and Women, Wealth, and Worthiness. One of the reasons why I named them differently is because first, it was just a financial literacy course. And it was like, okay, here's what you do with your credit, and here's how you create, a legacy, and you have to create a estate, and your last will and testament, and your estate plan, and your budgeting, and your income statement, and this and that, and all these practical, pragmatic things. But even though, how many of us know what to do sometimes in certain areas and just don't do it? Right? I'm guilty of that. Hello, cheesecake. Hello, diet plan. Right? And so in the same way, it's like, but we got to get to the mindset piece of it. What is it that has you know what to do and you don't do it? And many times people think it's a mindset thing, like if I just have my affirmations, if I just shift my belief. But if you don't understand that your mindset and your belief system biologically is an aspect of a dysregulated nervous system, and you don't know how to regulate your nervous system, you can say all the affirmations in the world and it'll never change a thing. So that's the part that we deal with inside of Women, Wealth, and Worthiness, and Men, Money, and Mastery, is how do you regulate yourself so that you are empowering yourself to do what you know to do to reach the goals that you say are important to you. Because nobody's going to impute those goals on you. You have to design them for yourself, but you also have to go out there and get them.
And that's the promise of both courses. Now, men, women, can they cross over? Or must women register for Women, Wealth, and Worthiness, and men must register for Men, Money, and Mastery? How does it go?
So, yes, the women go to Women, Wealth, and Worthiness. The men go to Men, Money, and Mastery. And if you're like a married,
Did I freeze or did Monikah freeze?
Monikah froze at just the right time. I need that answer.
She will be back. But here's the deal. So Men, Money, and Mastery, Women, Wealth, and Worthiness are both programs offered by Dr. Monikah Ogando. And right now the wait list is open. You can go to monikahogando.com/waitlist to get there. And on that note, Giovanni, I'm opening it up for questions and this conversation. Let's continue the conversation. Questions, comments. Stacy, what's on your mind?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I have one. I'm about to get married soon. And we are, Joyce Anya and I are thoroughly in talking about our money. And this program that Monikah is talking about is sounding like something we both might need to attend as we're planning for our future. So I'm wondering when Monikah comes back, or if you know the answer, would this be something that we both could attend as a couple? One of those things. Or do we need to do it individually?
I'll stay away from the word need and extend an invitation to you both, right? What Dr. Monikah offers is priceless, and here she is. And what you and Joysonia will get out of the course will leave you beyond knowing how to make money, beyond knowing how to manage it, multiply it, minister it. It will leave the two of you aligned from a mindset perspective. So I highly recommend going that direction. Dr. Monikah, welcome back.
I got knocked off of Wi-Fi, so I'm here on my cell phone.
No worries, all is well. Stacy had a question. He's here in the room with Joysonia, his fiance, and they're going to get married.
Yeah.
And Stacy was wondering out loud, would it benefit the two of them to do the program together?
Oh, yes, I think so. As I was saying that, our gender unconsciously biases us in terms of how we listen, who we listen to, and what we listen for. And sometimes the relationship, our culture socializes us to have a different relationship with money, depending on variables of your identity, whether it's your generation, right? Generation X has a different relationship with money than the millennials or Generation Z, your gender. And there are certain roles that we assign to men in relationship to money that we don't necessarily assign to women. And that's kind of changing a little bit in modern times, but the conversation is different. And so we want to have a place where it's women listening to women and where it's men listening to men, so that then when we do come together, for example, couples that take it together or families that take it together, then we have a common understanding, a common language, and we can hear the underlying conversation instead of thinking that somebody isn't listening to you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah.
So do it individually and then do it together.
No. They're launching at the same time. So Joysonia can do Women, Wealth, and Worthiness at the same time while you're doing Men, Money, and Mastery. And we are going to have sessions that are together. We're kind of like bringing it, the co-ed sessions together so that we can, negotiate those things. What are we learning? What does this mean for us? How do we move forward, and so forth?
Yeah, and without jumping the gun into the fifth M, say a little bit about the fifth M, which I think adds a dimension that goes even beyond the joint sessions that you're talking about, Monikah.
Yeah, masterminding for money, with money, because if you notice, if you study any person that has created wealth and legacy for themselves, they always surround themselves with folks that lift and elevate their conversation, that they can get mentoring from, but also that they can get accountability with. And in any zone of excellence that you've ever gone on to lift my conversation, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. The time that you want to be the smartest person in the room is when they're paying you for your expertise, right? But when you're there to get learning, you want to surround yourself with folks who have more expertise, who have more knowledge, who have more access, who have more network than you, et cetera, so that you can then, it's a rising tide raises all boats.
Perfect. That's Men, Money, and Mastery, Women, Wealth, and Worthiness. And say the link again for people to go and register.
Right, because you can get on the waiting list now for them. And the link is MonikahOgando.com. My name, MonikahOgando.com/waitlist. And you can choose to get on both of those wait lists for Men, Money, and Mastery, Women, Wealth, and Worthiness.
And they start in the fall, right?
Yes, well, soon. They're going to start in the fall equinox. So next month in September, we're ready to roll. It's kind of like back to school. Do you remember when school started in September? Now it's like they're rolling. It's like at the beginning of August. I'm like, what? It's still summer. But now, yes, we're honoring the fact that school starts in September. So we're opening Men, Money, and Mastery and Women, Wealth, and Worthiness. Our first class session starts the week of September 19th.
September 19th. Those are the date, and the website is MonikahOgando.com/waitlist. get there. So today is just the first M, make money.
Yes. Make
Now,
money.
tune in next Monday. We're going to go to the second M, managing your money, inside of a series designed for your money to be recession-proof and for you to make and create your own economy. You learn all of that right here, and you master all of that in those programs. So, Dr. Monikah,
Mhm.
when it comes to making money, what do you want to leave with us today?
We have a very narrow or reductive message in this culture that we make money so that you can go on vacation, that you can be a better, bigger, larger consumer, so that you can floss for the gram, etc. But the conversation that we have inside of Women, Wealth and Worthiness and Men, Money and Mastery is that you make money so that, and then the rest of those M's follow, so that you can manage more judiciously, so that you can multiply more abundantly, so that you can minister more generously, and so that you can mastermind and amplify your own knowledge and your own legacy. And so I used to have a mentor who used to say to me, well, used to say to all of us, when you get that it's not about the numbers, then it can be about the numbers. And what he meant by that is, when you get that it's not about making money, it's what it represents. It's the life you can lead. It's the life you can leave behind. It's living your legacy now, enjoying your legacy now, and then leaving it for your children or your students or whoever you want to touch. When you get that it's about that, it's about the impact that you make, then it becomes an exciting game. Then it's not about accumulation. It's about redistribution and doing capitalism consciously. So I'm excited about that game.
It's about wealth creation. So even at the very beginning, the making money is not about surviving, because most
Correct.
people make money to survive. I make money to pay the bills. I make money to buy the car. I make money to. Now we're talking about making money. Yeah, you'll have those things, but the primary purpose of making money is to actually build wealth in the sense, in the global sense, where you're managing it for that purpose, you're multiplying it for that purpose, you're ministering with it for that purpose, and you're masterminding so you can amplify all of that.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're still in survival now, get inside Women, Wealth and Worthiness and Men, Money and Mastery so that you can transcend your own survival conversation.
Perfect. Well, folks, there you have it. This is our daily huddle for today. And we'll end today, as we always do, with the 7 tenets. And I guarantee you, when you create for yourself a space where your money is recession-proof and you create your own economy, you will be free to love. You'll be free to laugh out loud, and it will be authentic. You will stress less, and you'll eat mostly plant-based. Because guess what? You want to stay alive for as long as you can so that you can manage, multiply, and minister with your money. And you'll give, because you'll have to give, and giving will be coming from that place. And sleep, and last but not least, move and shake your body. My name is Saral Kitan. Giovanni Gonzalez is coming to us from Belize, right, Gio?
Belize.
Yes. And he and I are the co-founders of the Daily Huddle. Dr. Monikah Ogando hosts Thursdays Spiritual Matters and is a guest here with us for the next 4 occasions. And tomorrow, tune in for Wealth and Wellbeing with Mr. Vance Roundtree and Roland Venata. We'll see you tomorrow morning on the Daily Huddle. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great one, everyone. All right. Bye.